Let's take a look here at the replay.
Let's see here. See if you can see.
They
On that
touch
overhand
gloves.
right. He's out.
And
Oh my
See him
God!
go limp.
Right on the
Yeah.
chin.
He's out. You will see him go
Out
limp.
cold. What a performance! What a knockout!
What's up, everybody? Jesse Nunez here with the Fight Scene Podcast, here with our guest, Austin Cloe. Austin, you had a spectacular fight at EFN 27. Talk to me a little bit about when we spoke and the match was offered to you and what your thought process was about taking this fight.
So it was a big opportunity. Obviously, I had never fought for EFN before. I had some good fights leading up to it and, some good performances. I've definitely feel like I've been dominating in all the fights I've been, having. I've come from a really good grappling background, so I've definitely been utilizing that in a lot of my fights. Been working on my hands a lot just to kind of try to match that up with, the wrestling and grappling I've already got. I started, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and all that kind of stuff when I was just 12, 13 years old, so I've been doing it for a long time. And, I've struck, just as long, but I feel with my body type, I'm definitely more of a grappler, so I haven't really got to, perform striking as much.
Right.
A lot of the guys are 6 foot, 6'3" that I've been fighting, because I've been fighting a little bit heavier. This guy was 5'9", so I got to, do that a little bit more.
And let's talk about the opponent, because you didn't take a first EFN fight with a guy who wasn't going to challenge you.
Yeah.
Like, this guy was coming in as the welterweight amateur champion. He had just come off an impressive fight the last time out. What was your mentality, when Matt called you and said, hey, we have a fight for you, but it's our champ? Like, what were you thinking?
I looked at him, and I thought that, it was going to be a harder fight. I saw that he had some grappling. I saw that he had some wrestling. In his past fights, it seemed like he started on the feet, did okay on the feet, worked his fights to the ground, and that's where he kind of took over on the fights that he was winning. I thought I could handle his striking. I thought I could get inside, take him down. It takes a really high-level wrestler for me to not be able to get you down, especially with my MMA wrestling, too, with strikes added to it. You could be a really good collegiate wrestler, but if you're throwing strikes with it and, setting it up in different ways, it makes it a lot different, especially up against the cage. And I knew I could get him to the ground, but clearly it ended pretty quickly. I was looking for the shot. I threw the overhand. He got buzzed with that, and then was on his way down, caught him with the hammer fists, and
Yeah, those were some vicious hammer fists. And Zayd, you were there calling the action.
Yeah.
I mean, 10 seconds of pure excitement.
Yeah, I mean, I called him the Incredible Hulk when I saw him walk out. Because you were just, bro, you were huge. You were ready. I'm like, holy shit, this guy's going to go in here. And it shocked me how quick it ended. But you made a huge statement, I think, going in there and just absolutely destroying him. And it was an amazing performance.
I've been working my way down. I did a lot of fighting when as a kid and growing up, and up until maybe 19, I was doing a lot of stuff, and then I went and started as a firefighter paramedic and was just lifting weights and got way too big, and then started the fighting stuff again. So I've been working my way down. So for that fight, I was walking around leading up to it 205 pounds.
Wow.
So going into my next fights, I'm working my way down and a lot lighter now, but I was walking around pretty heavy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you said, you came out in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
Right? And Kyra's no slouch, right? Kyra can fight. And I think your confidence coming into that fight is what surprised me, right? Because I've seen you fight before. You've always had a great outing. You're dominant. But this is the first time you fought somebody who I think could challenge you, right? So the amount of confidence you came into that cage, and obviously you showed it within a 10-second spurt of just pure excitement and adrenaline, right? But this is against a guy that I thought was a great match for you, right? So with those type of matchups, is there any thought process that's different, right? This is a step up from your normal competition.
Yeah. When it comes to obviously game plan, it's gonna. If I think there's a guy that's gonna cancel out my wrestling, I'm gonna try to box with him. If I got a guy that's got reach on me, I'm gonna punch my way in. Take a hit or two and get in on his legs and take him down. Yeah. It depends on their physicality, what they're like, their style, and everything, that kind of what you're gonna get from me. But always the game plans get you down and beat you up. That's what I'm the best at. That's what I'm known for. So you're gonna have submissions coming your way too. I like chokes. I like going for your arms. So I'm definitely gonna be doing that with strikes. I like to go and open up submissions with strikes.
Yeah, let's. I see we watch it back. I mean, I
Yeah,
know it
let's
was
do
short. I mean, it was such an amazing spot, and let's see.
So leading up to the fight, definitely knew it was a big opportunity. I knew I had to work hard leading up to it, and give it everything I had with my preparation. I definitely did that. I think I came into the fight really prepared, mentally, physically. I put the work in for sure. I knew he was a tough guy, a tough opponent, and he's got some finishes under his belt. He's finished some tough guys. He was a matchup that I wasn't too worried about. I knew if it came to grappling, I was gonna be able to take him down and do what I wanted. But obviously, been working my striking and was able to secure a knockdown and finish the fight from there. So it definitely went according to plan. A little different, game plan than what we thought was going to happen, but
Yeah.
a finish is a finish, right?
Yeah, for sure. And Zayd, as we watched the playback, obviously from your position, it was hard to see that initial lead right.
Yeah.
Right, until we saw the replay. Take us through it from that position.
Yeah, I mean, from where we were sitting and even watching on the monitor, that right hand was so quick. You kind of just thought it was just like a setup into where, it landed on the bottom of the chin almost, and I thought it was just set up for the takedown. I thought, okay, boom, he got a takedown, he's in side control. But next thing you know, you're just hammer fisting him and the fight's over. And then you see it on the replay, the connection. He was out damn near stiff as soon as he hit the ground.
No doubt.
That fight was over.
Yeah, he went limp on his way down, and then
Yeah.
the hammer fist just put him completely out. And there was one slip left uppercut early on, like right at the start, that I think led to him being knocked out with the overhand right.
It was a perfect punch, and honestly,
I don't really remember hitting him with that shot on its own. I remember the hammer fist, but it happened really quick. And I didn't think that I cracked him that hard initially, but I definitely felt him go limp with the takedown, and I knew that he was affected by it.
Yeah.
And then I followed up with the other shots, and those were hard.
and that
hard
sequence,
shots.
that's something that you have to be training in the gym, because that's probably one of the best setups, that overhand into into the double leg. I mean, is that something you've been working on forever?
That's something I hit every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely working the overhand right to the shot. You know, wrestling 101, right?
100%.
Super impressive. The crowd loved it. It got the crowd energized. It really set the tone for some other fights that came out after. With that being said, like, what's next for you? Where do you go next? Who's the next opponent? And are we going to see you back in the EFN cage?
Oh yeah, you'll see me back in the EFN cage. Like we said, definitely looking to make the drop to 170. Coming up right next is we have the XFO War, Outdoor War, August 9th. I'm the main event of that card, fighting for the 175-pound title. So that's coming up soon. Getting ready for that. Feel really good for this one. It's like very close to home, so I have a bunch of friends, family, coworkers from the firehouse coming. It's going to be a good show. We're expected to sell out the house on that one. It's cool being, we're going to be under the stars and, outside.
I love and hate outdoor events because when the weather is beautiful, it's the best events to be at. But when that weather isn't good, man,
you never know.
it's
You
the
never
worst
know.
event to have.
Oh man, yeah.
We keep getting requests to go back to the baseball park.
Yeah.
And while I remember the 3 great shows we had that were sunny and beautiful, I also remember the one show where it was supposed to be a tornado and rain, right? So it's always such a risk, but I'm sure things will be fine, and weather's going to be great for you. And I'm excited to see what you do over there. They're a competitive promoter of mine, but I have a lot of respect for that organization. They were around a long time. Dan Lardy has always treated me with respect. So I'd like to return that to him, And
for sure.
I'm hoping that they have a great event out there, and
I'm excited.
Hopefully
excited to
sunshine,
see it.
right?
hopefully sunshine.
Yeah.
I've never fought or competed outside, so I know I've seen cool wrestling events like Beat the Streets they'll do,
Yeah.
or stuff like that they'll do outside, but I've never done it. So I've been there as a spectator.
Yeah.
I'd say bring your bug spray.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you at your next fight. And in our next segment, we're going to follow this up, talk a little bit about UFC Chicago. We're going to get some insight from the fighter. We're going to get some insight from a resident handicapper. Maybe I'll get a bet or two that I would want to place. Stay tuned for the next segment. We'll be right back.